Business Foundations for Mums, with me, Kate Butcher, is the podcast to listen to if you are a mum who is ready to launch your business, not sure where to start, or wanting to turn that sideline into something more serious. It will be full of practical tips, mindset advice, and inspirational and honest interviews with mums who are juggling business and motherhood, supporting mums in business to turn your dream into a reality. And welcome to today's episode of Business Foundations for Mums. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Instagram algorithm and some recent updates that have been happening. So if you've listened to my podcast for a while, you will know that I did a couple of podcast episodes, a while ago now, a couple of years ago, all about Instagram, about the hashtags, about the algorithm. But this is social media. Things move fast, things change. So if you listened to that particular episode now, whilst there would be some things that you could get out of it that would still be of value, things have changed. So I thought it was actually worth coming on and just talking about some of the updates to the algorithm, talking about some of the ways that it's changed, talking about some of the ways that you can work with Instagram to improve your reach and to make sure that your content is getting out there. So first and foremost, the thing that actually prompted me to decide that this was a good idea to do another episode was that there was talk for a little while over the last few months, and it's something that I've heard about from several people. I've seen it posted on Instagram by lots of people, and I've told people about it as well. There was talk of there being a new hashtag limit of just 5 hashtags being rolled out across Instagram. Some people had it already. It was already happening. People were getting a limit of just 5 hashtags. Other people weren't quite there yet. However, that seems to have disappeared. All of a sudden, everyone's got their usual 30 hashtags back. And when Instagram have actually been asked about it, they've come out and said it was actually a glitch in the system. It wasn't a case of a five hashtag limit being rolled out. So we don't think that that is happening now. I've still heard people talking about it. I've still heard people saying it is happening. So it sounds like it's not going ahead. But it's just something to be aware of, that, you know, that the hashtag limits might change at some point. We don't know. But at the moment, we're still using 30 hashtags. I've still got use of 30 hashtags. And whether you use that 30 hashtags or whether you try a different figure, have a play around and see what works better for you. That is the short version, effectively. It's different for everyone. So for some people, you might find that you use lots of hashtags and that actually helps. But for other people, it might be that you find that the optimum for you is 3 or 5 or 11 or various numbers that I've heard touted around by different people as to what the optimum number is. But ultimately, it really depends on your audience. It really depends on how people are finding you with the hashtags, whether that is going to be the right number for you or not. So have a play and see what works for you. Something that I also wanted to mention was to continue to be cautious about banned hashtags. If you include a banned hashtag in any of your posts, then the views that you get on that post will be limited. And if you use a banned hashtag consistently or regularly, then you might well get a shadow ban. Now, what do either of these things mean? What is the limit to your views? What is a shadow ban? Limiting your views means that effectively the post that you put out will still appear in your grid, so people can still find it by going to your profile and clicking on that post. But it means that Instagram will not push it out to all of the other people out there. It will not share it with new people. It will not show it to people in their feeds. It will only be available on your grid. And a shadow ban is where all of your posts are affected in this way. So by using a banned hashtag consistently, it's entirely possible that a shadow ban might happen and all of your posts will be limited and not shared in people's feeds. It does become fairly obvious when that happens, because you'll find that all of a sudden your reach will just drop off. And you have to be careful with banned hashtags because they change. They change all the time. New hashtags are reported. And it's worth just double checking your hashtags, because there are some which to you have a very innocent meaning or just about your business or something that you do. But actually, it might be that there might be other people who use the same hashtag in a different context, in a different way, that it's used inappropriately in some way, that it's used to refer to some kind of illegal or illicit activity in some way, or it might be that it's just been used in a really spammy way by lots of people. So it's worth checking. And just as much as they change and new hashtags become banned, other hashtags will become available again after they have been banned. It used to be really, really easy to check if a hashtag was banned. You used to type the hashtag into Instagram and it would say posts around this hashtag have been limited. But that doesn't seem to be happening anymore. So now the best way to do it is to look at the hashtags that you're planning to use, copy them, and then go over to Google and search banned hashtags. And you will find right at the top a whole load of free tools that you can use, different apps where you can just, or different web pages where you can just paste all your hashtags in there and it will tell you if any of them are banned or not. Pages that I've used for searching banned hashtags in the past include metahashtags.com, which is quite a good one. IQ hashtags as well, which is a good one, iqhashtags.com. And both of those have tools where you can just hop on, paste your hashtags in there, and you can then search and find out whether any of them are banned or not. By using tools like that, it's much easier if you can do them in bulk than going onto Instagram and searching each hashtag individually, especially given that Instagram doesn't show you whether a hashtag is banned anymore or not. So, what works on Instagram? What does Instagram like? What does Instagram want you to share? Because ultimately, you have to remember that Instagram is going to show posts and content and reels that will keep people on its app. Instagram wants to keep people using Instagram. And then effectively for them, it's better business because you're more likely to click on a sponsored ad. You're more likely to then get some money for them if you're staying on the app. So Instagram will favor content, which will keep people on the app. And what keeps people on the app? Content that they like, quite simply. So at the moment, Instagram is favoring new content and original content over content that has been shared or remixed in some way. This will also help small creators in the long term. And this is something that Instagram is really supporting. But it also means that content that has been created in another app and then is being repurposed for Instagram, e.g., if you make a video in TikTok, for example, and then download it and post it onto Instagram, this is likely to get less traction than a video that's created directly into Instagram itself. Instagram is also favoring meaningful engagement. So that means that longer form comments, actual conversations that are starting up rather than just an emoji, interactions through direct messages, particularly, for example, from stories. If somebody puts a story and you respond in the comments and actually you get into a conversation about that, that kind of content is being favored because it is showing meaningful engagement and it's showing community, which is what Instagram is pushing and promoting at the moment. As an Instagram user, you see content in your feed that aligns with the content that you have previously liked, that you've commented on, that you've shared, that you've saved, that you've interacted with in some way. So, as someone who's posting on Instagram, it's key to remember that the content that people engage with is the content that is going to work for you. You want to keep people interested in your content. You want to grab their attention. You don't want them just scrolling past your content because then they're less likely to see your content in the longer term. So therefore, encouraging engagement is really essential as well to boost that algorithm. So therefore, encouraging engagement is absolutely essential. A call to action can be a really good way to get people to engage with your content. So you might see things like click the link in bio, or you might see save this post for later. All of those are ways that people are trying to get people commenting, liking, clicking on the post and going to their page. These are all forms of interaction that help the algorithm to like your content and your post and therefore to push it out a little bit further. Equally, I see lots of people saying, don't use link in bio because it's getting really boring and everyone's saying it. And yeah, it's true, but that's because it works. And you don't have to say it in those words. You can always say, go to my bio, click on the link, and that will take you to whatever you want to see. So there's lots of different ways to get around it by still saying the same thing if you find that kind of terminology really boring. By having a business profile on your Instagram account as well, you can use the insights which are available, and you can use these to see which posts you get the best engagement on. So generally, photos of you, unless your whole profile is photos of you, if you post all about your business, all about what you do, all about lots of different things, and then you post a photo of you, and it's not that frequently that you do it, I bet you anything you will get a ton of engagement for that. So if you don't have a business profile at the moment and you want to have a business profile, I'm not aware of any negative ways that this will affect your profile, but the benefits that you get from it are absolutely worth it, which is the access to all of those insights into how well your content is performing. So if you don't have a business profile at the moment and you want one, it's a very simple thing to do. You go into your Instagram profile, you click on settings, you go to privacy, and then you go to account type and tools, and you press the button which says switch to professional account. When it asks you what kind of account you want, then you need to select a business account. So this means that those people who've engaged with you in the past are more likely to see your content in their feed. Those who have also showed a preference for this content which is similar to yours or account types which are similar to yours are also more likely to see your content going forward. So therefore, growing your audience requires other forms of engagement. So things like tagging and collaborating with other Instagram users. That way you're reaching their audience as well as yours. So that can be really useful. Again, if people share your content, then your content is being shared with a broader audience. So encouraging people to share your content or tagging people who are likely to share your content is a really good way of growing your reach as well. Reels are something which are really popular on Instagram at the moment as well, but particularly reels that are original content. So as I said at the beginning, they are not repurposed from another platform. And also really importantly in reels, they do pick up on the caption. So think about the keywords and the hashtags that you use in your caption. Make good use of that space. Some people, I always click on the see more on the caption. I always open it up and read what it says, or quite often I will. So it's really important to make sure that you have some relevant and useful knowledge in that caption as well. And stories tend to get shown to those who already interact with your content the most. Stories are ways to get a bit deeper with your existing audience. So it's a really good way to encourage interaction. There are really easy to use interactive stickers or effects that you can use that will get a quick reaction, and that will boost your algorithm. It'll boost the amount of people who are seeing those posts, and it'll boost people coming to your account. So you want as much interaction as you can. Ultimately, Instagram will favor anything that keeps users within their app. So most importantly, try things out. See what works for your business. See what works for your account. What works for someone else might not work for you, and it all depends on your audience, your personality, and what people enjoy engaging with. Try out different things and see what works. But I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you again for another inspiring interview with an amazing mum in business. Thank you for joining us here at Business Foundations for Mums. You can find all of our episodes, show notes and blog posts at businessfoundationsformums.co.uk, and you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook.